India's got so much talent that all the little champions are dancing खतरों से खेलते खेलते. एक झलक हम तुम्हें भी दिखला देते इस स्वयंवर की, पर बिग बॉस चाहते हैं कि वो पहले रोडी बन के आए.
अरे लव स्कूल स्प्लिट्स विला नच बलिए ये भी जोड़ लेते साथ में.
अरे वो राइम नहीं किए ना, मतलब वैसे ये भी नहीं किए, बट हु केयर्स.
शोशा है भाई शोशा है, आजकल सब शोशा है. शोशा है भाई शोशा है, यहाँ सब कुछ शोशा है. शोशा है भाई शोशा है, आजकल सब शोशा है. शोशा है भाई शोशा है, यहाँ सब कुछ शोशा है.
Hello and welcome to the fourth episode of your favorite podcast, SHOW-SHAaa, where we are going to have some very real conversations about a very real topic, that is reality shows. I'm pretty sure you have already guessed it at this point because we've named like 20 of them in a single line, which was an achievement. But to start with, Mr. Singh, I'd like to ask you, actually to both of you, I'd like to ask you guys, what sort of reality shows have you come across, have you seen on Indian TV or overseas TV per se?
A whole lot of them actually. There are singing reality shows, there are dancing reality shows, there are singing and dancing reality shows, there are skill-based shows, talent shows, adventure shows, cookery shows, then there are shows where you get to choose your life partner, then there are shows where you get to date each other, and then there are shows where celebrities are dancing with each other, there are celebrities dancing with common people, there are common people dancing with common people, just a whole lot of them. Bhara pada hai.
Absolutely, I think I agree. I think these days channels are more dominated with the reality shows than the soap operas or than the entertainment shows that were basically meant for the middle class Indian families or the housewives or something like that.
So, tell us this, any show which stood out, which stuck in your mind, okay, this is weird, this is something, I don't know, be.
I think our question should be otherwise. Which is the reality shows which actually looks real?
As a child, when I was growing up, again bringing the age thing into the conversation, I really liked roadies when I was a little kid. I liked roadies, to be very honest. But as I grew up and the show changed into something else,
then you realize the show never grew up. Actually.
Yeah, the show never grew up. I did, but the show never grew up. Then I really like MasterChef for some reason.
I think it's probably because you like food.
Yeah, I like food. I like MasterChef, although the MasterChef Australia is much better than the Indian version. We'll get to that as well. But weird shows, yes. Swayamvar is a weird concept. Rakhi ka Swayamvar, Rahul ka Swayamvar.
Kafi weird.
Mika the Voti Swayamvar.
Yeah,
I find them really weird.
Misogynistic, actually.
Yeah, I think I find Love School, Splitsvilla, I think weird shows. I don't know why. But again, these are formats where the people participating into jump onto another shows and then they are participants to the other shows and this whole thing goes on and on. But yeah, I mean, Big Boss, somewhere down the line, at times it's weird, at times, but it's gaining TRPs, so people watch it.
See, Big Boss, otherwise, if I look at it from a society point of view, I think it's a good experiment in an observational study kind of thing. If you want to see or watch or observe human behavior, on paper it sounds like a good idea.
Provided that we assume that it is indeed an experiment. I'm doing air quotes while I say that.
Right.
Because again, I for one belong to that conspiracy theorist school of thought, whatever you want to call it, where I believe most of these are scripted actually. What is your take on that?
Rigged, I would say, because every reality show has a casting director. And when a reality show has a casting director, you're looking for a cast of people. Why would you look for a cast of people when you are making a reality show? You want them as real as they come. But you have casting directors, so they are looking for a set number of people that you want.
Set number of people with certain stories to
exactly,
tell.
Certain characteristics as well.
Yeah.
So when you have casting directors looking out for people, it ceases to be a reality.
I think first and foremost, I think all the reality shows that we are addicted to, be that Big Boss, be that Swayamvar, or be that Indian Idol, I think they are versions of the shows American Idol or MasterChef Australia or something like that. And plus we Indianize it according to the audience. And then again there are known faces right? And for example, Colors Channel, there are known faces to it, and those only celebrities those who are a part of these serials, they'll be circulated into the reality shows. They'll be a participants to the reality shows because they're known faces. People attach certain emotions to them.
They are kind of already pulling into
Yeah,
an already
so-
popular guy that you have.
So what's real into it? Real should be maybe a common man participating into a show, right? When because they have to be good to all the celebrities, of course. They are giving them TRPs.
How about that one, like that poor little kid? I'm again doing air quotes. A lot of this will have air quotes. Sad that you can't see it, but that poor kid in Dance India, Dance Little Champs, or that poor kid in Indian Idol, Saregama. All the contestants are actually from rural India who have had a difficult childhood, a brilliant story to tell.
See,
What about those guys? Those are common people participating in reality
there is
shows.
nothing wrong with coming from rural India. I think it is empowering and it gives them a stage. But having said that, everybody need not have a backstory. That everybody need not have that they are coming from a very marginalized background, something which is not possible. They have struggled a lot. Everything need not have a background story. If you're coming to a singing reality show, your singing, your talent should be at the foreground, not from where you're coming from.
Essentially, the fact that everyone has a backstory which is almost on the similar line across all shows, that looks made up to me.
I think just like the film directors, I think even the this entertainment channels are trying to be storytellers. They pick up the story of any common man which is included there, and they'll add some melodramas to it, maybe a struggle, maybe somebody.
Or maybe they are picking up people who have a backstory to tell.
You guys have seen Welcome, right?
Which one? The first part or the second one?
The first one.
The good one.
Yeah,
Okay.
the good one.
The good
The
one.
good
The
one.
only one. The only one. I'm not going to acknowledge the second one. But you remember that character who every time somebody told पहले मैं हॉकी का एक अच्छा खिलाड़ी होता था फिर उदय भाई ने मेरी टांग तोड़ दी. Isn't that all reality show participants every you suddenly tell them you're going to Mumbai, he starts crying and he's like मैं बचपन में बहुत गरीब होता था.
See, the high point is not the contestant, but the judges also cry. They
Everyone
say कि
cries.
मेरे घर पे छत नहीं है. It is okay. We understand your story. You came here after a lot of struggle, but the judges need not cry.
But
You are judges. You should not take.
This guy has a problem with people being emotional. All right.
No, but
That's sad.
But the point is, there is no human who does not have a struggle into the life. Be that emotional, be that psychological, be that physical struggle. I think every individual has a struggle in their life. So portraying into the a big screen or maybe a household screens, I don't appreciate that probably.
Again, yeah.
Let them judge on to the basis of the skills.
So essentially, if you're a good singer, you can be a good singer without actually having
Exactly,
to tell me
exactly.
that आप सड़क पे पड़े थे, आपने बिना माइक की प्रैक्टिस की थी, आपको स्कूल में पीटते थे. I need to know that.
I would love to see a contestant who would say that I am coming from a comfortable home. I had an average okay life. I don't have a sob story to tell. I had a good family. I got a good schooling. But I like to sing. I love to dance.
Yeah.
I got trained in that and I am just showcasing my skill. And that is why I would watch an Indian Idol or a dancing reality show.
I think I'll just like you talked about the judges, right? So I think I was just reading somewhere few celebrities, for example, I would not be naming them, but they have rejected to be the judge of the reality show onto the basis of they would not like to include the dramas into the reality show. They would like to judge people onto the basis of the skills.
Again, essentially, coming back to Mr. Singh's point, comfort zones spoil you. If you had a good childhood, you're not good at anything, right?
See, my problem is that what does a sob story has to do with a show like KBC or Kaun Banega Crorepati?
That's precise. KBC is about the sob story, actually.
No, KBC is not about
If
the
you're
sob story.
already a crorepati, you don't have to become it.
No, again, that is the whole point. If you have a good knowledge, right? You are aware, you have a good skill set, आपका general knowledge अच्छा है, you'll be okay in that show. You need not have a sob story to justify your presence in that show.
But
That आप क्यों यहाँ पे हो? क्योंकि आप बहुत struggle करके आए हो. That is okay.
But I don't know, KBC has quite a lot of people from the police background, the army background, and there are civil servants also included into it.
essentially, that is one point where I would have to disagree with you.
As usual.
As usual.
That Instagram status
Aman
of
disagrees.
Aman
Hello,
disagrees.
people. But essentially, KBC, the very concept of a KBC is about that slumdog millionaire wala concept. The guys who goes from nothing to everything. But when you translate the same thing to a singing show or a dancing show, that does not sit well with me either. But for a moment, if I were to put a pause to these backstories and sob stories, because that is not the only problematic kind of content I see. If you look at a Splitsvilla, if you look at, I don't know, everything which is like Splitsvilla, let me not name too many of them. Isn't that just objectification of the human body? You're just putting, again, I'm doing air quotes, good looking people on display for the male gaze or the female gaze.
See, when you say good looking people,
He also did the air quotes.
Yeah, I also did the air quote because I'm talking about the same group of good looking people. Most of the people, they look so good on television. I seriously believe that those so-called casting directors, they again look out for people who also look good on TV as well. So when you look at a Big Boss, you don't see people, an average person. You don't see an average person.
No, but Big Boss is all about people who were into controversies, right?
Exactly. Yeah. That is the whole point. The point here is that, for example, MTV and Colors, both are owned and controlled by Viacom. And they have their own progression of reality shows going on. So you get selected in let's say MTV Roadies. Then you progress to a Splitsvilla. Then from Splitsvilla, you will come to the Big Boss. From Big Boss, you move on to, let's say, a Jhalak Dikhla Ja. From Jhalak Dikhla Ja, you will move on to a Khatron Ke Khiladi. So those 5 shows are controlled by same group of people. And you see those same group of people getting rotated in those 5 shows. And you have your 5 years of your career sorted. And then after those 5 years, you become a reality TV star.
Oh, you're a social media influencer as well.
That as well. And then
that reminds me of a recent episode where one of the contestants of Big Boss, Shaleen Bhanot, he was talking to Big Boss, I'm thinking of a long-term plan with the colors and you would like to portray me in a certain image.
So somebody was being real.
Real, yes. Yeah. See, they are no longer actors. पहले टीवी पे एक्टर्स होते थे. तो मुझे अब ये भी लगने लग गया कि बचपन में जो हम अंताक्षरी, क्लोजअप अंताक्षरी देखते थे, उसमें अनु कपूर आता था. I usually mix up Anu Kapoor and Anu Malik. I mix up my Anus. I mix up my Anus.
As you should. That sounded so wrong.
Right. So basically मुझे वो भी लगने लग गया कि जो उसमें कंटेस्टेंट आते थे वो भी रिग्ड होते थे.
I don't know. I think पहले reality shows का format बहुत अलग होता था. I think we used to have Surbhi as one of the programs. रेणुका शाह ने जिसमें थे जहाँ पर वो लेटर्स पढ़ते थे जो ऑडियंस के, plus they used
Aman might not get that reference at all.
No,
he's too young to get the reference.
We won't discuss Surbhi too much.
Then we had this Just a Minute जो program आता था, that was a game show, and then you're talking about Anu Malik's. But फिर भी वहाँ पर एक common man Anu Kapoor. फिर भी वहाँ पर
You also got your Anus mixed up.
Lot of
Please never marry an Anu, the two of you.
So वहाँ पर भी I think जो participation audience की थी, because I think Antakshari had different themes onto the relationships building. I think they were father and a daughter, और उसके बहुत अलग अलग relationships को लेके उन्होंने programs की. But अभी it has more celebrities involved into all the reality shows.
Aman got all the references for the record, but Aman सोच रहा था that boomer.
Maybe because you have checked while we were preparing for the episode.
No,
you checked all the.
Aman was thinking boomer alert.
So technically we are not boomers, we are millennials.
Yeah, but you act like boomers. हमारे जमाने में सब अच्छा होता था, आजकल कुछ अच्छा नहीं है. हमारे तो reality shows भी real होते थे, इनके नकली हैं.
See, because you represent a millennial stage where you only see the reality shows which are scripted. We have seen some real content, so we talk about
which
it.
You believe to be real. Again, actually, say for a minute, okay, I believed it. It was all real. सब बढ़िया है जी, all hunky dory. Everybody wants so much money. But जीत गए फिर.
फिर अगला शो मिल जाएगा. You will be part of a participant in another reality show.
So as an audience, what am I supposed to see? The same guy or the same woman in 6 different shows doing more or less the same thing? Because again, I don't believe Khatron Ke Khiladi and Swayamvar should be 2 different shows. See, they can be one.
If you look closely, every channel has a assembly line of reality shows going on. So for example, there are 15 people in a show like an Indian Idol. So 3 or 4 of them will be in the top 5 or something like that. Obviously one of them will win. So the rest 3 or 4 or even the winner, they will then go on to star in a show called, let's say, an Indian Idol Little Champs, or a Dance India Dance Little Champs,
Or become judges.
or they'll become judges,
Mentors.
or they'll be becoming mentors to, again,
The new participants.
to the new participants, or there will be a little version of that जो बच्चों के लिए होगा, वो बच्चों little version, sorry, that came out wrong.
Yeah, I did.
Too much of little things you're talking
Right.
about.
So वो बच्चों के लिए बना देंगे, तो वो बच्चों को मेंटर करने के लिए वो जो टॉप 4 इंडियन आइडल थे वो आ जाएंगे. So you have your career settled for another 2-3 years.
In a way, it's not wrong. People are getting their jobs. They are getting recruited.
At the end of the day, you're getting paid to do something which you are able to do.
Right.
That is a different story. That okay, the people who are making you do it are selling it as something different. They are selling it to the audience as something real. But आप आखिरी में acting, stunts, you're doing the whole routine of a soap opera maybe. But at the end of the day, you are paying fairly well actually. You get a fair amount of money.
See, there are so many reality shows happening right now. I again still remember, again a millennial alert. When the first
He pretends to be a millennial. He's a boomer actually. He was
By-
born in 1762.
right,
He's practically a fossil.
They are interacting with a fossil here. So when the first Indian Idol came out, and when I still remember, I was probably in school, I guess. The final battle took place between Abhijit Sawant and Amit Sana.
Oh, he remembers.
I remember because it was such a big craze back then. There were newspaper articles written on them that who will win. There was such a huge craze, hype around them. And nowadays, nobody bothers who wins the Indian Idol. Do you know who won the last Indian Idol?
I don't even know what number they are at right now.
Exactly, that is the whole point. Because there are so many reality shows happening that nobody bothers about it. It is just basically it's a content generation machine.
There's
again.
essentially the singing shows, there are the dancing shows, there are the Got Talent series, which is again singing and dancing. Then there is something again named differently, which is also about singing and dancing. You do it
too many-
separate. Yeah, you do it separately. You do it at the same time.
So too many winners from a dancing show, too many winners from the singing show, but the point is ki what lays ahead in the future for them? Just few live events maybe.
social media
Influencers.
But
Yeah.
one thing I want to mention here now, since we're talking about the Got Talent series, it messed up my definition of talent. Because there was something I imagined कि talent होता है. अब क्या है, या तो छिपकली खा लो या नाचो. There's nowhere in between.
Again, या weird stunt कर लो, कोई नीचे लेटा है उसके ऊपर से मोटरसाइकिल निकाल लो.
Essentially छिपकली.
Essentially.
The very concept of छिपकली खा
But
लो.
again, when you look at
Eating nails
something,
also, I think. People
Eating
Clap-
nails?
One guy clapped by one hand and kept on doing it.
right? So when you look at, let's say, a Britain's Got Talent, I see people actually showcasing some talent, some semblance of talent, I would say. But in India, again, every talent ultimately boils down to a singing or a dancing reality show. People dancing in groups, people dancing in couples, people dancing individually, people doing some weird acrobatic stuff while dancing. People,
Ribbon dance.
yeah, ribbon dance, hanging somewhere, पानी में नाच रहे हैं, हवा में नाच रहे हैं, नाच रहे हैं basically
गाते नाच रहे हैं.
Still, that's still a skill.
That is
still
a
a
skill.
skill.
Yeah,
Yes.
we're talking about the weird.
That is a skill, but
Yeah.
again, there is an overdose of singing and dancing reality shows, I would say. Every person just comes on stage and starts dancing in some weird way. And I grew up watching Govinda dance, to be honest. I actually struggle to relate with these kind of dance forms at times. That this is not dance. I saw Govinda dancing his heart out on screen, and I loved that.
He's lying. He's from the time of Guru Dutt movies, actually. Yeah, he was in peak adulthood when Guru Dutt was in his peak adulthood.
And then when you look at a reality show, you see same bunch of people in every reality show.
Yeah, that we've established. I think that they
Yeah.
have again the casting. Even after having a casting director, the human is lazy. वही छे उठा लिए तुम भी इधर चलो. I don't know why are they paying the person. ठीक है दे दिए 6 चलो भाई खत्म करो.
See, we understand at the end of the day, these are entertainment shows. Right? They are meant to entertain the people, and probably they tend to gratify certain audience, certain areas of the audiences where they feel good. People jumping from one plane to another plane, and then people singing old songs. A lot of people connected because see, television is a medium which is for all the age groups.
Right.
We certainly can't bracket the age groups there. So probably maybe aged people or a couple
he wanted to in the last episode. He wanted to in the last episode.
I would like to dance like Govinda.
The point is, obviously reality shows have a merit. They provide a platform to a vast number of people.
Yes.
They give opportunities. People make a lot of money out of it.
Yes.
People are made celebrities. People are made social media influencers. But
Cult
heroes as well. We have seen people becoming huge stars as well out of reality show. Ayushman came out of roadies technically.
Yes,
and
He came out of Agaz. He's from my college, people.
Okay, credit to Aman as well.
Yeah, I didn't teach him, but I could say that.
Right. Obviously, you didn't teach him.
I could say that.
Of course. Right.
Nobody
Go ahead.
fact checks.
Right. But the point here is that you don't need melodrama in a reality show every time.
I agree.
So when you're watching a Shark Tank,
yeah,
it should be about investments. It should be about startups.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, having a background story that, okay, how did you guys started this company, that is okay. I understand that. But then saying कि हम बड़ी मुश्किलों से आए हैं जी यहाँ पे, and then the sharks, they also start crying. It just gives a different flavor to the show. And then you compare it with the American and the British version, and you see that this is
people
not
talk
what...
business. Yeah, people talk business.
Again,
that is what is meant to be the format of the show.
Even talking about the melodrama, I have a bigger problem with the kind of background music or BGM we use in melodrama because we have a different way of portraying it. Even I've seen a couple of episodes, not even episodes, I've seen a couple of clips from the American Shark Tank, I think. They also tell a backstory कि अच्छा ये हुआ, this guy, this little kid इतना loan लिया, but there's no
there are no swipes and there is no loud music.
Jump cuts.
Yeah, and I think one thing that more what reality shows portrays is one, I think making fun of the people. I think a lot of these singing shows or dancing shows, they intentionally include people to make fun of. Like somebody who's very weird in dancing, they'll include. Some who sings badly, they'll include that person just to make a fun of it. And again, the depression and other stories to attach to it.
Actually, that is a whole other conversation that brings me to this. Say, roadies, the way they talk in interviews.
Yeah.
That is the mildest thing they say, actually. Or in a split.
I'm just holding myself back.
Yeah. Glad that you are.
Thank you.
Or in any of the shows, the way they talk to the participants, or more problematic is a little champs, anything which involves 7-year-olds, 6-year-olds, you're telling them, because it's not always that the judges are being all nice and
all
cozy.
The time, yes.
There's very real pressure.
Yes.
Even if at 6, if you're part of something competitive, it is competitive. Kitna hi wo dilasa de lo ki this is not a tag on your skills, ये comparative है, ये वो आखिरी में I lose, I feel bad.
It is going to affect that 6-7-year-old kid when they face rejection. More so, even before that rejection, the pressure of performing in front of 10-15 cameras, bright lights, a number of people, training day in and day out at an age when you should be just relaxing, learning about things, curious about life in journal as well.
And even like when they miss a step, I've seen this in so many of the shows, they miss a step when it comes out on TV, there's that music and that.
Maybe I think maybe these platforms have become a platform for the instant fame. Instant fame. You get yourself registered for one of the reality shows 6-7 months, and then you earn 25 lakhs to 50 lakhs, and then you are out back to your normal life. I think if the participants are real into it, for a celebrities jump to another show, again they'll be earning from that. So I think this instant getting into the fame and limelight and not struggling towards your success into life, I think this is
boomer alert.
See,
Mushkil.
no, because
the-
that leads to the depression among a lot of people.
Again, see, I get it. A 7-year-old, a 6-year-old, a 5-year-old. It's not my agency. I'm not deciding to be a part of that show. And if I am not doing it, then there's a problem somewhere.
फिर वो उसमें भी मेलोड्रामा लेके आते हैं कि ये 7 साल की बच्ची है, ये 7 साल का बच्चा है, ये देखो जी 2 घंटे इसने प्रैक्टिस की, अब ये वहीं पे पढ़ रहा है बैठ के, अब ये फिर प्रैक्टिस करेगा, फिर इसके एग्जाम है. There is nothing praiseworthy in that.
Again,
Let the kid have a normal childhood, let the person go to school, learn, let them grow in their life, and then take their own decision whether you want to be a dancer or somebody else.
you're putting them in a highly competitive. It's not even competitive. If it was competitive, I would have bought it. ठीक है, you decided to be a part of a competition. It's a scripted competition.
Yeah.
Winner decided hai. Why are you making the kid go through the grind? Maybe the kid doesn't always understand.
See, competition leads to pressures for the participants at times, and I think even the social media is adding up to it. You know, in case, for example, we see a lot of participants, the moment the reality shows starts and the social media is flooded with the personal accounts of the participants, right? They are doing this, they came from here.
Again, social media is supposed to be 13 plus ages mostly. That's even...
Yeah, but then
Yeah.
parents handing out the accounts.
You can always say that the
yeah.
kid is not handling the account, somebody else is handling.
Yeah, and again, we are... To not find this problematic, I would have to work on the assumption that all parents in the world are good people and are thinking in the best interests of the kids.
Obviously, you're thinking in the best interest of their kids, but you're exposing them to a life for which they are not mentally and physically ready yet. They're not there yet.
Doesn't make sense,
Yeah.
actually. And
Yeah.
okay, tell me this. ठीक है, हमने सब हो गया, ये reality नहीं है. What is the problem in calling a parrot a parrot? ठीक है, उन्हें थोड़ा rigging करना है, scripting करना है, कर लो, बता दो. WWE, for the longest time we believed it was नहीं. Then they set out commercials. कि
Yeah.
ये जी झूठ है.
Please
People
don't
are
try
still-
this at home.
Yeah, people are still
Right.
watching it
Right.
उतना ही. It's still at their age. तो why can't they tell कि ठीक है भैया हम थोड़ा इधर उधर करते हैं.
See, how can you expect a reality show or an entertainment program to go on air and say कि हम scripted करते हैं, जो participant हमने पहले winner decide कर लिया है and the whole show and the setup that we put together, it's not that. I think we are just expecting our audience, our viewers to be a little more responsible, to be a little more logical with their kids, with the people who are participating. I think they are taking their own decision and they are reliable for it if they go for a reality show.
The thing is that let's not call them reality shows. Let's just call them entertainment shows.
Let's call them competitions. Again, you're putting out a very real word which is the antithesis of what you're doing.
Absolutely. So this is what I'm saying. I think we are just expecting our audience to be a little more, real with the facts. They, a kid participating into it, they should know it. What are the repercussions? What are the pros and the cons to it? Similarly, if an adult is participating it, he's mature enough to take his own decisions.
Again, see, let's not call them reality shows. I would say
shows, yeah.
they are at the end of the day, they are for
entertainment.
entertaining you guys.
Yes. And there's no harm. I think they are adding,
There's no harm in
jobs to the
entertaining,
people.
yes.
Again, Aman disagrees. No harm in a reality show, in a dancing show, or in a singing
it's giving
show.
jobs
there
to the
is
people.
no harm. Yep.
Yeah, and a lot of people, those who come from rural India, they are getting their skills showcased onto the national
Even
platforms
otherwise,
in
it's a
front
big
of.
damn industry. A lot of
उसमें
people
भी
into
उसमें
making
भी
the
Yes.
show.
आजकल उसमें भी
Yes.
आजकल tokenism हो गया है. If you have paid
Yeah.
attention to it.
Yeah.
So in most of the reality shows उसमें क्या कर रहे हैं आजकल, because they want to appear inclusive as well. So you find contestants from the northeast as well. You'll find contestants from other pockets of the country जहाँ से normally contestant नहीं आते हैं. Right? You'll find a token Punjabi guy or a Punjabi person. You'll find a token person from the northeast.
Yeah, so you're moving out of the typical Delhis and Mumbais.
Right. Because you want to appear more inclusive. उसमें से एक दो जैसे मास्टर शेफ में they bought a 70-year-old दादी this time around. उसको बेचारी को पहली elimination task में बाहर कर दिया.
And you'll also have participants from the institutes of the judges as well.
Oh, that is a big conspiracy theory out.
I think they're called winners. अगेन कॉलेज में नहीं होता है जिस डिपार्टमेंट का टीचर जज बन गया डिबेट का उसी डिपार्टमेंट के बच्चे जीत जाते हैं. That's that.
So I actually just want to say one thing. There are a couple of things I actually miss on television these days. I sincerely miss a good heart-to-heart talk show where just two people sit and talk.
Just for you, Simi Grewal is coming back, I think, with the show.
I haven't seen Coffee with Karan kya?
Coffee with Karan is not that show.
Heart to heart, so much heart.
No,
Hearts
Coffee with Karan is
everywhere.
not that show. Just like Dr. Kalia pointed out, Rendezvous with Simi Garewal, there was a show called Jeena Isi Ka Naam Hai with Farooq Sheikh.
Yes.
Lovely shows.
Lovely shows, yeah.
And there is no room for those shows, those kind of shows on television anymore, because all these reality shows have taken up all the slots.
Which
and
often
when I
end up to
turn on television,
controversies.
everybody is just dancing.
Which
I hate that.
Which often end up into controversies.
Yeah. And another thing, it looks like I'm going on a rant right now.
That it has looked like it for 4 episodes now.
I sincerely have a problem with MTV
You
as well.
have a lot of problem.
Why don't we make an episode where Ripu Daman has a problem with everything?
Ripu Daman's
And Aman
problem.
disagrees to all the problems.
No, half of them actually I would agree with. MTV was supposed to be something different.
See,
MTV,
the M in MTV stands for music, not for making a mockery of your own brand.
and TV in MTV stands for television.
There are reality shows on MTV. There is football on MTV. There are gaming shows on MTV with just no music at all.
Anything but music.
Anything but music.
and everything under
There
the
is-
sun
but music.
There is one song and then 4 programs and then there's another 2 songs.
There
and
are
then
no
again
songs on MTV anymore.
You forgot the 68 advertisements.
Yeah.
ठीक
You
है.
are getting personal to my subject now.
She teaches advertisements. In case you guys didn't know that, you didn't. Of course, we never told you. ठीक है. There's a lot of reality TV out there. Air quotes again, people. Reality TV बहुत ज़्यादा हो रहा है. That is okay. I want to come back to the point where we're talking about there is no problem या problematic नहीं है. A dance or a singing show isn't. But a Splitsvilla to me is problematic. A Swayambar to me is problematic. All this,
It's problematic to the core. There is nothing
The very-
ethical and right about it.
the very idea that went is like a couple of sadists sitting together. No offense to the makers. Yes, offense to the makers.
Offense to, let them take offense.
Please
Let them
take
stop
offense.
making
share us.
Swayambar.
But those are problematic shows.
Obviously.
And just the other day, you were showing me a show. You want to name it?
There is a new show in town, I would say. No, on television.
On Earth.
On Earth. Not on Indian television, thankfully, till now. So there is a show called MILF Manor. We are not giving them a shout out. In no way we are giving them a shout out.
But it is exactly what you think it is.
Yes. We
Please
won't
don't watch it.
Please don't watch it. Please don't even look it
did-
up on Google as well.
We didn't.
मत search करो, उनके views मत बढ़ाना.
But
It
then
is
why-
what it is. It is what the name says.
Actually, it's worse than what the name says.
Right.
Because actually, they took 8 women and their kids.
And their kids.
own kids.
Not kids, their sons.
Their sons,
Their sons.
actually. Their own sons.
Right.
So it's worse than what the name sounds like.
Right. So I guess we should now wrap it up before it becomes a rant.
It did become a rant half an hour ago. But essentially, if I were to ask you to sum this up, you have 3 lines to tell to the audience.
Reality shows or entertainment shows for that matter, they do serve a purpose. Again, I would say they give a platform to people earn their livelihood. But yes, we need to cut down on the melodrama part and focus on the core theme of that reality show or that said entertainment program. If it is about dancing or singing, let the people just dance. I don't want to hear a sob story that why they are dancing. I just want to watch them dance, and that should be the end of it.
I think these reality shows or entertainment shows, again, not as real. I think for making it look more real, I think they should include more of the citizens into their shows to make them look more real. And again, yes, they need to cut down onto the melodrama part. And I think making jibs of the people and then showcasing them in a humorous or a bad limelight, I think they should not do it.
And just one last thing, bring real people in.
They have cotton people.
No, real people.
Actually, they have
Real
cotton people.
They have cotton people, not just some B-list models or anybody else. Real people who look like real people and they actually have some real talent.
Again, at the end of the day, I, for one, also believe that we also need to look a little as an audience. ठीक है, मूवी देख लो भाई, स्टंट करते हुए देखना है लोगों को, go watch a movie. But नहीं, we want to have this. At this point, most of us already know कि स्टंट है, scripted है, bunch of rich people fighting for आटा क्या? Because they are getting handsomely paid for it.
More than handsomely.
Yeah.
People are making lakhs and crores of money over there.
हाँ तो वो
80 दिन रहो, करोड़पति निकल के बाहर निकलो, KBC में जाने की जरूरत नहीं है आपको.
at whose cost?
Our cost.
Our cost.
Our peace of mind.
Our
Actually,
peace of mind.
Yeah.
I've seen people.
Ours and theirs also. I think they also have. They go.
So, I guess, friends, that is it for the day. I think we should stop ranting at this point.
Yes, exactly.
Thank you for tuning in. See you next week.
शोशा है भाई शोशा है, आजकल सब शोशा है. शोशा है भाई शोशा है, यहाँ सब कुछ शोशा है. शोशा है भाई शोशा है, आजकल सब शोशा है. शोशा है भाई शोशा है, यहाँ सब कुछ शोशा है.